welcome to another kick-ass live show of Command Your Confidence. Today, I'm joined again by the bad boy of the dating game, Mr. Lucario.
What's going on? What's going on? How you
Oh,
doing?
yeah, rocking and rolling, man. You know, I was just telling you before the show, I took a leap of faith in my with my career and everything, and it's been like the best decision I've ever made and everything. I'm like, you know, I'm free, I'm more creative, I'm doing more of what I want to do and everything. And I was telling you, I was doing some of the content creation for a steakhouse, which is really awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. How about yourself?
Man, just been grinding, same old same, just out here doing what I do, spin this game, making that shit happen. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you've been doing a lot lately because I've been, I keep up with your show like on Sunday. Mm-hmm. When I can catch your, when you do your stream with Miles during the week, I definitely keep up. I'm like, this guy does more live streaming than me. And I'm sure you do a lot more outside of that.
Oh, yeah. Just staying busy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's how you do it. But that's how you're going to succeed in life. You got to stay busy and you got to be consistent. Like you always talk about, if you want to become good with women, you have to be consistent on going out there and, going through the trials and tribulations and, learning from your mistakes and learning from your successes in order to do that.
Right. Exactly. That's real shit. It's real shit.
And a lot of guys, they just like fucking give up. They let the frustration get to them. They don't like, they have the right mindset and they don't realize that it's a learning experience to actually become good with women. And it's also an inner thing with themselves too.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. That's real shit. It's real talk.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, hey, that's why, probably like 5 or 6 years ago when I first came across your channel, when you were just preaching the whole mindset thing and like, you create your reality. That's why I kind of like grew onto your content because before I was telling you I was all into like the PUA stuff. I was following all that and didn't really see that helping me too much. And I one of the things I forgot to focus on was myself. And you taught me to do that because you've always mentioned the game is within you.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's, and that's the thing. I think a lot of guys, what happens is that they don't realize that what they want or what they're trying to make happen in the game when it comes to them dealing with women is really, based off of them actually, really putting themselves out there, putting in the work, and then what they give to the game, they'll get to the game. So that's that they'll get from the game. So that's what a lot of guys don't understand is that the reason why they're not getting the results that they want, they're not actually being consistent with putting in the work to get the results that they want. Because if they were actually doing that, then they would get what they want, because this is what will happen. Even if you're putting in work and you're not getting what you want, what's going to happen is you're going to say, okay, what do I need to do to actually get where I want to go? And then that will make you ask questions like, well, maybe I have to learn something. Maybe I have to switch something up. Maybe I have to, work a little harder. Maybe there's something that I don't know that I need to know. And then those questions will lead you to the answers that you need in order to really get to the point where you need to be. So either way, if you actually put in the work and you're being consistent, you'll make things happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's so true, man. One of the things I always do, like, and I just really started practice this a bit more, actually writing it down in a Word document or journaling. But before I just like would, think about this. But when I come to a point in my life where I'm just having success with women, then I'm falling off that. I always try to, I write down the questions. I'm like, okay, well, what's going on here? What do I got to do to make it better and go out there and implement? And I find that when I follow that protocol, that helps me, grow and, kind of get out of that rut.
Mm-hmm. Right. And right. Exactly. And that's the thing that, guys need to do is you have to keep going so that you can see progress, so that you can see that progress is possible. And you see, that's the problem, is that a lot of guys quit and they basically, quit before anything can happen. They actually quit before they get to the point where they can see the progress that they can create. So a lot of times, if you're a guy who has a hard time getting women, you start to identify as that guy. You start to say, well, that's just me. And, that's just what happens with me. I can't get anything going with women. Women don't like me. I'm not that type of guy that women want. So the thing is that you have to keep being persistent, keep learning, and keep putting yourself out there so that you can actually see with your own two eyes and through your experience that you are the guy that can get women. So you want to be in a situation where you have an experience where a woman is being receptive to you. Women are flirting back with you. Women are sexually attracted to you. Women actually wanted to be with you in that manner. Once you start to see that, then you'll realize, okay, I can actually make it happen. You see what I'm saying? And then once you realize you can make it happen, then you just be consistent with making it happen more. And then you make it happen more. And then you start to realize, what are the things that I'm doing that make, what are the things that I'm doing that's making me get the success? And you just keep replicating that. So that's really
right. Even like sometimes, like, how it goes, like, you have, being in the game, it's full of ups and downs and stuff. And when you have those down moments, you got to remind yourself of all the successes that you've had. Because sometimes you go through like a little spiral and everything. But when you can kind of go back there and kind of reflect on all the successes that you have, and then kind of learn to grow, kind of grow from there, like you can learn to move forward and stuff and realize that it's like not a dead end. You're not stuck, or you know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. Because that's the thing. If guys continue to focus on them not actually making progress, then that becomes a focal point. So then they get stuck in that rut of only focusing on that, and then that brings more of that. Because if for example, if you're out here talking to women and you're getting rejected by, let's say, 20 women, you went out, you talked to 20 women tonight, and then you're very frustrated by that. And then what happens is that frustration carries over to you talking to more girls. And then when you're talking to more girls in that frustrated state, you're not attractive. And then more girls reject you. You see what I'm saying? So it just keeps piling on and piling on. And so the thing is, you got to be so confident within yourself that even if 20 girls reject you, you still are that confident, attractive guy regardless. But see, that takes practice, that takes you being out there, and that takes you having a strong sense of self so that you're not moved by any of that stuff. You see what I'm saying? Opposite, you're still not even moved. Technically, if a woman is, being receptive to you, you're just not moved, period. Like, you only move yourself. You don't allow the outside to move you. And that's when you become unbreakable and unshakable in the game. You see what I'm saying? That's what guys got to say,
Right. And that takes a lot of discipline to do, because, that's, that was always one of my biggest challenges, being moved by the outside world and stuff. And, even though you have that realization, you still got to discipline yourself to kind of, not let that affect you. You still got to believe you. Like, I have this one shirt that I have too, that kind of reminds me, just to kind of get in this right state of mind, believe in yourself when no one else does.
Right.
You got to, and you got to be aware of, like, when you're kind of getting into that state of mind. Well, hey, you're not going to progress if you get in that state of mind. And then even once you have that awareness, and you can when you kind of shift your mind towards focusing on having success, that's when you're going to produce the results.
Right. Exactly. And so that's the thing, is that it's about being focused on the things that are actually working for you, so that you can continue to do those things that are working for you. You know what I'm saying? And also, too, what happens is this, right? What can help a lot of guys out is focus on the things that worked in the past, and understand that because it has worked for you, then it can continue to work in the future. So if a guy says, man, it's been a while, I haven't like hooked up with any girls, I haven't been out and making anything happen in like 6 months, and it's like, all right, cool, well, maybe you was just like chilling and doing your thing. But what happens is that if 6 months before that you was out and you were meeting women, you were hooking up and things were going down, you can say, I have evidence that I can make it happen, because 6 months prior I was out there talking to girls and making stuff happen. So just because you're in a space where things aren't happening right now doesn't mean that you can't get back to it and make things happen. And so it's understanding and having those experiences under your belt that'll teach you or get you to recognize that you already have it in you to make it happen. So you already did it. So whatever you did before to make it happen, that is still within you to make it happen now. So even though you're like a dry spell, or things haven't happened in a while, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. So I think a lot of guys get discouraged because it's been a while since shit hasn't been happening. Then they feel like different, or they feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and see, that's what you got to remind yourself of. I have to do that too sometimes, because I go through certain, and sometimes too, it's because like I got other stuff that's going on in my life where I can't focus on women as much. There's other stuff that becomes a priority, so I can't like really put that time and energy like I was, and so my results are very half-assed. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
But I have to keep during those time periods. I have to keep on reminding myself, well, hey, look at over the past 5 years how you progress compared to how you were beforehand, and that kind of helps with the motivation and dealing with that frustration when it arises.
Right. And see what I would suggest guys to do when it comes to being, successful at talking to women and getting women attracted to you, right? It's really an attitude that you have first that will basically emanate when you're interacting with women in general. So like there was times I remember I went to this event, and it was an event where I thought it was like, it was weird. It was like an event that I was going to that I thought was a meetup singles event, but I was actually in the wrong place. So when I went in there, like I thought, and people were there, hanging out talking, and I thought I was at this event. So I just walked up to this group of women, and I was like, "Hey, what's up? How y'all doing?" Blah, 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 blah. And I'm interacting with them. And one of the ladies was like, "Oh, like we were talking." She was like, "Oh, I like that you're so brave to just come up and talk to some strangers." And I said, "Well, isn't this? I mean, this is a singles event, so
yeah, right."
And then it was like, "This isn't a singles event," and I was like, "Wait a second." It's now I was like, and then I looked at my phone for the address, and I was in the wrong spot.
Oh shit!
But the reason why she was like, responsive to that energy, because I had the energy as if I already thought these women were in there to meet me, because I thought I was in a singles event. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. No, I hear you.
Right. So when I had the energy to go up and talk to them and interact with them, there's already feeling that confident energy that I had in the first place. So a lot of guys, what happens is that they come to a situation talking to women with a defeatist mindset, with that defeated energy, and that energy of, I hope you like me, I hope you want me, I hope you want to talk to me. And usually, the women are put off by that, and women can feel that, they can smell that, they can, they can feel that energy, and they don't really want to be around that, because when guys are like needy and awkward and weird around women, it's hard. It's awkward for her. So then she just doesn't be around that situation. But if you're a confident guy who's just, fun, exciting, interesting, she's going to want to be around you. So even there's times where women will talk to you, just because you're good at having conversations. And then some of those women that talk to you because you're good at having conversations are the women who are going to be attracted to you through the interaction you're having with them having those conversations. Because there are some women off the rip, they're going to be attracted to you just because. But then there are certain women who, because you know how to have a conversation, you're interesting, you're fun, they start to see you as more attractive because of that. And that's coming from you having that energy from the jump. You see what I'm saying?
Dude, I know what you mean. Like, because kind of analyzing myself, I know even when I go out on my dates from the girls I meet on the app. So I normally do a phone call because I like to kind of feel out the vibe of the girl. And I can normally, if the vibes is perfect, I know it's going to be a good date, and I'll close. But so I go in there with the confident energy. I'm very social, and then I kind of get that energy like the confident guy, and then I kind of have that sexual energy too, and so I kind of throw it into the during the interaction. You can tell by my body language and the conversation, the tone of my voice, and this kind of the way I'm looking at it, because I always do great eye contact during conversation. I always do the eye contact, and I'll get these girls like holding hands, and within 30 minutes I'm not making out in the bar and stuff.
Right.
And those are the best ones. And I have this one routine spot that I go to. I always have my routine place, and even so, the bar ladies or bartenders so what date you coming? You're having the same girl this time or another one, But they always I'm like, so do I have a reputation here or something of being a ladies' man? They're like, well, you're smooth. Sometimes you seem to be a little too smooth. And I'm like, that's when my energy was fucking great.
No, I mean that'll happen, because when you have that type of energy, I'm telling you, it's a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? And what I say to guys is, look, that has to be your whole life. And what I mean by that is, don't think you're putting on a show or a different thing when you're in front of women. Like, the energy you have in front of women is the same type of energy you should have throughout your entire life and doing whatever you're doing. So then that's basically you. It's your energy, it's your vibe, it's who you are, it's what you're about. It's that that type of vibe that you bring to the situation. So when you meet women, you don't have to get ready or be prepared to talk to them. You don't have to be prepared to like say certain things or make certain things happen, because you're already that guy regardless. Mm-hmm. You see, it's almost like, it's like, like how when you see, for example, you might watch a comedian like that's not on stage, they're not performing, they're just like, let's say they're doing an interview, or you might even run into a comedian or whatever, just like in person somewhere or whatever, and they're not on stage, but they're usually funny even when they're not on stage, because that's just how they are. They're a funny person. They're humorous. So their whole vibe is that, whether they're on stage or not. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the same thing for you being a guy who has game and a guy who's attractive to women. You're that guy in all situations. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not something you turn on or turn off. It's not something that you got to put out and pretend to be, or you put it on or take it off like a mask or something. It's already you. So because it's part of you, you just go out there, and when you meet women, it's already automatically that vibe is there already. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Right. And when you're consistent with that vibe and that energy, that's in a way showing that's a woman, like your own authentic self and everything.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly.
But when you lack that vibe or try to be someone you're not, it's kind of going to show the woman, well, hey, this guy, through the interaction, she's going to see that. And it's going to you're not going to come out authentic. You're going to be like, okay, this guy's boring and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It naturally comes off as, or she feels the vibe of, okay, this guy, he's cool. I like being around him. He's fun. He's interesting. I like talking to him. And so what happens is that's what makes the woman invest more, because she sees that you're somebody worth investing in, somebody worth talking to, somebody worth, interacting with, and she's attracted to that. And so the thing is that a lot of guys don't know how to talk to women. And the reason why they don't know how to talk to women is because they're not comfortable in themselves, just in general. So when they do get around women, it's like, okay, how am I going to talk to them? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And that's because they're already within their other situations in life, feel some type of way about, how they come off, or they're not really secure about certain things. See, most guys who are like confident within themselves, they're not necessarily going to have a hard time talking to women. And I should say this, guys who are confident in themselves in just everyday life usually are not going to have that much of a hard time talking to women. Now, does this mean that they have like tight game? Not necessarily, but they're still at least confident enough to go and talk to women and interact with them. Then you have the guys who, because in their everyday lives, they're already awkward, they're scared, they're nervous, they're insecure, they're all over the place. These guys, of course, they're going to be that way around women too. So, so a lot of times it's this thing where, how they are in general is going to also be how they are around women. You see what I'm saying? And so what happens is, a lot of times it's not just a woman thing. It's or talking to women thing. It's the guy in his character already. He just doesn't like himself. He doesn't feel like he's, worth anything. He doesn't have a high self-esteem. And that translates into all the other areas of his life and what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, that's true. Well, yeah, that's definitely, and I can see how that's going to affect your interactions, because, I have my days where I kind of get stuck in my head and I have shitty interactions. But when I'm in my most confident self, those are usually my best dates and my best interactions ever. So that is a big part. And like, that's just learning to be consistent with that. And, no matter what the circumstance might be, is a challenge that's, I set for myself too, because I realize the importance of having that consistency, not just for the dating stuff, but I want to bring that positive energy, like it, all around me to keep me going throughout the day. Sometimes, you just try to, not let the external world affect, like we were talking earlier, affect like your attitude and stuff, because like you want to constantly project that attitude.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like that should, you know, a lot of this really is about you becoming that man in your life. And this is why we say the game is about you. You know what I'm saying? It's why we always talk about like the game isn't about the women, it's about you, because it's about you being that guy. And if you are that guy, then a byproduct of that is women are going to want to deal with you. They're going to want to be with you. They're going to want to date you. They're going to be attracted to you because you were that guy before you even talked to her. And then you're that guy while you're talking to her. And you're that guy after you talk to her. So this is why I say it's funny how guys feel some type of way or get upset at women rejecting them. And then they question themselves because of the women rejecting them. I'm like, well, wait a second. If you were the guy before you met her, and then you're the guy while you're talking to her and she rejected you, and then you're the guy after you finished talking to her and you got rejected, and nothing changed as far as who you are. But you start to question yourself and think there's something wrong with you, or there's something different that happened, or it's like this big thing. And I'm like, but you're still that guy, right? So this is why we say the game is about you, is understanding that you are that guy regardless of the outcome. Which is why you shouldn't be outcome dependent. And understand and have that belief in yourself to know that what you want, right, or what you want to happen is going to happen. It just didn't happen yet with that particular, it didn't happen with that particular girl, but it's going to happen. And so that's what I was saying earlier about recognizing or thinking about things that has happened before in the past and using that as a reference to understand that you have the ability to make it happen. And if you're a guy who hasn't done anything in the past and you're just like listening new at this, you're young, you're probably still a virgin, whatever, you got to understand that because you've done things in your life before, I'm sure you've done something in your life where you accomplished some goal or you made a certain thing happen. You have the ability to make things happen, and having that perspective and understanding that perspective, right? You can take that with you when you're out there talking to women and dealing with women. And all you need to do is just learn some game, step up your game, and then you'll be able to apply that same, skill that you did to do another thing to the skill of being able to be the type of guy that can attract women. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's well said. You know what you remind. That's the motivation I used to kind of get me going when I wanted to make that change in my life. Because I like, so about 6.5 years ago, I really sucked. I couldn't even go talk to a girl in public. I had, I go out on dates and just end up in the friend zone all the time, and I got tired of it. And but I realized, well, hey, I've made a change. I've accomplished a lot in my life. If I can do that, I can do, and that's what motivated me to do it. And I realized I went into it knowing that it was going to be frustrating because I didn't know you're starting out. You know what I'm saying? But I learned. I went out there. I just went through, had the conversations, did the interactions, tried new things, did stuff to help me push myself out. Push out myself out of my comfort zone as far as like being my authentic self. Flirting a lot more with girls. Going in for a kiss and stuff like that. And I found that cool. I can go in for a kiss without even saying, "Hey, can I kiss you?" I can just go for a hug and a kiss, and then I got a kiss, and then hey, my next step after that, she was really good at that first kiss. I'd be like, "Well, hey, let's go have a glass of wine and continue this conversation at my place." And and I got girls to come home on the first date. I didn't think that was possible until I went out there and actually took took the risks, break out of my comfort zone and put myself out there. And it doesn't work with everyone. Some girls aren't going to be attracted to you, but you do it, and they're going to find some girls will do it, are going to kiss, and you might be able to take them on the first date. You might have to wait another date, but you're not going to know if you don't put yourself out there and take a risk.
Right, and exactly, and like you said, you in situations where you was able to kiss girls and do all these other things without even having to like say it or in that manner, and that type of experience shows you what you're capable of doing. And this is what I try to get guys to understand, is that you got to go out there and get those experiences so you'll see, what you can do specifically. You understand? Because it's one thing to hear myself say it or anybody else say it or you say it or whatever, but the guy has to go and he has to put himself out there to see what he specifically can do. You
right,
understand?
exactly.
And that's the thing.
And you got to do that. One of the challenges I faced, I just moved in with the roommate back in December and stuff. I'm like, well, shit, I've never like had a girl over with a roommate before. How am I going to do this? You know, so
Right.
you know, I just like I would just let the girl know, but and then I just like as soon as we get back to my place, I have the wine above my bed and everything. You know, I got like a little armchair, so I go, hey, come in here. She can sit on the armchair right away. You know, pop open the wine, have a drink, and you know, go from there. And sometimes even when they wanted the wine, they just wanted the fuck. So, it's just like, but but it was so weird. I had that negative like thought because I'm like, oh, how the fuck am I going to make this happen? This is going to be difficult, but it really wasn't that difficult because you know, I put myself out there and I made a chance. So you took a chance,
right? And again, that's what it is. Is that, you know, one of the things that guys can do to improve and to, you know, get more women attracted to them, right, is, you know, like I was saying, going out there, putting in the work and doing all that stuff, right? But what it is too is that the more that you go out there and do what you do, right, the more you're going to learn about what specifically works for you. And then all you need to do is just replicate that exactly, and then keep doing that over and over again. Like, so a lot of times when I talk to women, it could be online, it could be, you know, hollering at women in the street, or it could be, you know, at a bar, club, whatever it is, right? There's certain things that I do that I know that has a high chance of working because it's worked damn near like probably, let's say 7 to 8, sometimes even 9 times out of 10 when I do this particular thing in this particular situation. So there's things that I'll do online to get a girl to come out and meet me. There's certain things I'll do if I'm, you know, hollering at a girl in the street, you understand, to get her to stop and talk to me. There's certain things that I'll be able to do at a bar if I'm chilling at a bar talking to a woman, right? And so once you understand those things and you're in those same situations, then all you need to do is basically copy and paste. You understand?
Right, exactly.
You already know the certain responses or reactions that you're most likely going to get from the woman because you've done this over and over and over again. And so what happens is that because you've done it so many times, right, it becomes sort of part of part of your strategy, basically part of your game. And you're just doing that over and over again. And then you say, okay, look, this is how I know I can go out on the weekend and I can pull this amount of women, or I can probably hook up with these amount of girls because it's something that you've been doing so much that you already know how much work you got to put in generally to do it, what types of places to go to meet the types of women that are usually more receptive to you in your town or city or area. Know what types of, even for like dating apps, there's certain dating apps that will, you know, yield you more results than other dating apps. You say, I notice I get more traction on Tinder than this other date or this other app, or more traction on Bumble than this other app or whatever it is.
That's true.
Right.
But
and then you notice that
my worst one. The other ones are fine.
Right. And it's like, if you know that, then you just keep doing that thing that you know works. And I think that's the thing that guys don't take into account. But the thing is this, you have to put in work to know what works. You see what I'm saying? And that's the part that guys don't want to do. They want this, surefire, specific thing to know about. But in order to know about that specific thing, it has to be specific to that particular guy. And in order for it to be specific to that particular guy, he has to figure out what works best for him. Because there's guys, for example, who clean up on online dating to the point where they don't even need to go out and holler at chicks. Now they can, and it's a good skill to have, because if they're in a situation they see a girl they want to holler at, but they're getting so much success online that's what they do mainly. So they're like, all right, well, let me just continue to do this and get the women that I want to get, and I'm doing what I got to do. Some guys, you know, the opposite is true. They might get a bunch of fucking, traction on the street or in a bar in a club, but hardly anything online. So if that part is working for you, just keep doing that shit over and over again. But this is the issue. Most guys will never know what works for them specifically unless they actually go out and put in work on all these areas so that they can see what specifically works for them the best.
Exactly. I think it's good to find a balance of both the online and, the public places, meeting girls in public places. I've been complacent sometimes because I get most of my leads are from online or from like private events that I do. But like that's one thing like I challenge myself to do is kind of get out of that complacency and say, because I worked with a guy in Montreal for about 2 years, and that's all we did was daytime stuff. And I was getting like some success with that, but not as much of that as I was doing online. But then when I started to like really blow it up online, I got lazy with that. So I got, that's one challenge I've been working on, is getting back into meeting girls in public too, not just online, because I think you get more, you become complacent, and plus like, I don't know, I'm a very social person. So like, I can probably go out there and make it happen. But if I just got to keep on doing it. But it's just like, and I guess my goal is to set aside some certain amount of time a week where I can go out there and do it, or maybe just when I'm going doing my errands. But but I got complacent with the whole online dating stuff. It's because like I can go there and close and get like 4 or 5 dates within like 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right.
And it gets tiresome sometimes when you got like 5 girls you're talking to, and that's like one thing like I realized, I just want to be straight to the fucking point.
Right. Yeah. And that's another thing too, is that there's gonna be times where you get really good at interacting and dealing with women, that you have a time where it's like you got so many women that you're talking to, so many women that's like you're interacting with or whatever, which is a good thing, because again, you see what you're capable of. You see what I'm saying? And then when you get to that point, then you need to learn how to manage your time, manage the situations you have with the women, all that other crazy stuff. You see what I'm saying? So you have one thing when you're not getting girls, you're like, okay, my issue is how do I figure out to get the girls? Then when you get the girls, it's like, how do I figure out how to manage the situations to maintain the situation? So in every facet, you still have to apply some sort of game. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's true.
Right.
I know you got to do it in all your situations, going from the like closing, managing time, like the conversation, and and then just being consistent. There's so much to it. It's like insane. It's like you got to have become a master of your world and everything.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It gets really crazy. Well, one last thing I want to talk about before we end the show here, because I know you got to go in a bit. So like, what would you say? So because we were going to talk about like attractive conversation and stuff, and some of the stuff we mentioned, I believe, is important. Like we talked about the vibe and the attitude you have and the consistency. But what about like maybe like the tone of the conversation, as far like so some guys will go and have a conversation with a girl, and it'll be this totally friendly conversation, but they had the intentions to like they wanted to show sexual interest in her, but they don't know how to do that.
Right. Well, the thing with that is really, I always say is what the guy is saying, but also him having to focus and see how she's responding. So it's you saying things that are flirtatious and sexual, and then simultaneously seeing how she's responding to what you're saying. Right. And so the thing is like a guy has to flirt, right? And then when he's flirting, he's saying flirtatious and sexual things. Then he sees if the woman is responding positively to that. Then if she is, then you continue going down that path to saying more of that type of stuff. And then what happens is that because she's responding to your flirt, you flirting and building sexual tension, right? Through your words, then there's times that you can move it to touch, like, hey, you might touch her hand, you might bring her in closer to you, whatever it is, right? But it's really about first the words and him watching and looking at her responses. You see what I'm saying? Because that's going to tell him everything. Now, if she's not being receptive to it, if she's backing away, if she's acting like, oh, how could you say these things? And that's disgusting. And why are you talking to me this way? And she has some sort of attitude with it. Just understand that's a woman who is, not really, really interested in you like that. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. No, I hear you on that. Well, no, that's one of the things I've learned from you is to like actually throw some flirtatious banter into the conversation, because that has been a huge contributor for me to like kind of calibrate her interest level and stuff.
Right.
Like, and normally she's like responsive towards that. I know I'm okay, but normally when she's not, or she's questioning or being all weirded out about it, then I know that okay, this gonna waste this. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's gonna wait. It's gonna waste time. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and that's what you're looking for. You're just looking for to see if she's responsive to you flirting. And if she's responsibly flirting in that positive way and it's showing that she's interested, then you keep it going. Then you like, hey, let's get out of here. Let's go back to my place, whatever it is you're trying to do. But it's really just being socially aware to see her response to what you're doing. That's what it is, right? You know what I'm saying?
And it's good. I mean, it's just good. And that's something you'll even pick up on over time. Even when you're out there, you know, when I was out you're doing street daytime approach, whatever the hell you want to call it, you know, and you're out there socializing, when like you can pretty much tell right off the back, you know, their interest level, you know, based off of how they are during the conversation and stuff. You know, that's always been a good indicator of whether or not it's gonna close, ask for a number, or ask her out.
Exactly.
When they have the, you know, when they're engaged in the interaction, when they're kind of, you know, contribute to it, and then like you can throw a little flirt there, and they're like smiling and laughing, you know, that's okay. That's when I go on. But they're like not if I'm not seeing any of those signals, that's when I know, well, hey, I cut it off, because you know, but you'll gain that experience like over time. You'll be able to. I think, you know, it's kind of like a new superpower. You see which girl is interested in you and which one is not.
Right. Exactly. And oh shit! I think my food is here. Hold on. Stay on hold for 1 second.
Okay, will do, buddy. Will do.
I'll be right back. Stay there. Don't go to it.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I hope you're really enjoying this show. We were throwing some great content your way and everything. We just kind of want to help you guys get out there and be more, have more success with women. And these are some really good tips, like, you know, your mindset is important. Just being at your energy level is really important too. Like, you know, that's one of the things that I've realized over time is you got to go into the interaction with the right energy. You got to have that, you know, vibe, you're getting the right attitude. You got to like have that confidence in yourself. And when you actually have that during your interactions, it's really going to help you out with your game. And oh, hey, Mark Daniels, welcome, buddy. Nice to see you again. I'll give you a shout out, rock and roll. I'll reach out to you soon, and we'll have to do another show together. It's been a while. Definitely looking forward to catching up sometime soon. But no, it's really important, like, you know, just being able to have the right mindset about yourself, and, you know, be able to like try new things. Like, one of the things I realized is you got to kind of not be afraid to take any chances. Like, you got to just, when you say you're, you know, just learning to become good with women, you just got to kind of, you know, just try things and see what works for you. Like, just kind of, you know, be authentic, learn to be comfortable with who you are. And hey, Lucario is back. You get your food. You got some pizza.
Yeah, somebody, my delivery guy just came. I had to just get there real quick. But it's funny because I'm looking in the chat. So I cheat on you said you got to still be out in the field to be given advice is good-hearted, but I don't know. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm out in the field. That's what I'm telling you. Like, I literally do this all the time.
We got April here. Welcome, April.
April in the building. Shout out to my girl. That's my lady right there, April, with her sexy ass in the chat. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the thing. See, what a lot of guys don't understand is this, right? Is that when you're out there doing what you do, right? You learn more about yourself. You see what I'm saying? And so the thing is this, and this is the part that guys don't get. They think, this is what a lot of guys think. They think that the game has changed. The game has not changed. Like, a lot of dudes, this is what kills me about social media and a lot of these young dudes nowadays. They say, oh, the game has changed. It's not the same that it was. No, it's the exact same thing. The only thing that has changed, right, is the technology. That's it. Everything else is the same. The only thing that changes is technology, to where now you have more access. And if anything, the game is actually easier than it was before, meaning that you have way more access to women. Like, this phone right here, you have access to millions of women on the phone. Mm-hmm. Feel what I'm saying? And see, this is the goofy shit. You see, I cheat on you. He said the receipts. I literally said my girlfriend April is in the chat. You see how dudes don't listen? But anyway.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. Yeah, you got these people.
That's why dudes on the internet, you can't take them seriously.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so what people don't understand is that a lot of the things that guys are saying as far as the game has changed is just guys who don't really have experience with women thinking that the reason why they're not getting success is because the game has changed. No, the game hasn't changed. You just aren't the type of guy who has game. You see what I'm saying? Because if you had game, you'd see how much easier it is because of the technology.
Right, exactly. Oh no, I like being able to like relax after after a long day. Just go on my phone, just have some conversations without even having to go. It makes it easier, yeah.
Right, exactly. And this is the thing. See, guys like I Cheat on You, the reason why they ask these questions is because they don't have game. Guys who have game understand a thing called discretion, right? And what discretion means is that you do not put your business out on the street. You know what I'm saying? That's what you know what I'm saying? And yeah, exactly. I Cheat on You. Go get a ticket to my seminar in Vegas, because in Vegas we're gonna be out there in the street hollering at girls, and we're not, filming it and putting it on all that other stuff. And if we do film stuff, we tell the woman we're filming it. This is what guys want to say. Anytime you see those pickup artisty videos or guys hollering at girls in the street, 90% of them are fake. And if they're not fake, they're doing it without the girl's consent. So that's the thing that guys have to understand. So don't get fooled by all that nonsense you see on the internet. And this is why you need to learn game, because when you don't learn game or you don't understand game, what happens is you make ignorant statements like, let me see your receipts. You can't really see a person's receipts on the internet. You can only see a person's receipts in real actual life. Like my girl is in the chat now. You can see pictures of me and my girl and videos of me and my girlfriend, and you can come to Vegas and see me and my girlfriend. You see what I'm saying? Like that.
You guys have even done live shows together too. I've seen
right, exactly.
That you've done together. That's cool. That she helped
you know what I mean? So that's what it is.
Awesome. Well, but you said you had to get going, so I don't want to keep you on too long. But before I go, I'm gonna, tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, so definitely, guys, make sure you hit me up at badboymembership.com. And also masculineidentitymembership.com. That's where my dude Miles has his stuff. You can check him out too. Also, go to my YouTube page so you guys can click on the links over there to get the tickets to the Game Kings 2 seminar in Vegas. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah, we can get this stuff popping. You know what I mean? And I Cheat on You. I suggest you subscribe and you join the membership, because you need some game bad. You understand? Because I think he thinks I'm a pickup artist or some stuff like that. You need some game bad. Like you need it like yesterday. So I want you to get some help. You know what I'm saying?
Come hang out with Lucario and I over at Game Kings. I'm going to be going there to see
exactly.
There's a few other people.
Yeah, we'll all be there. Well,
awesome, buddy. Thanks for coming in. Like on the channel, we'll definitely have you on. Like I said, towards the end of July, early August, we can talk more about what's going on in at the Game King seminar and everything. And definitely looking forward to meeting you in person and a couple other people that I've worked with before. So awesome. And yeah, be sure to check Lucario's channel out. He's the real deal. This guy inspired me. He helped me on my journey and still continues to help me remind myself of what I got to do to kick ass. Right. So definitely check him out, and don't forget his show on Sunday that he does with everyone. I watch it every Sunday. It's like my church of game.
That's what's up.
Rock on, buddy. Thanks for coming on, and be sure to subscribe to both our channels. Hit the like and share this kick-ass material. Yeah.